What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. So it's a Memorial Day edition today. Um, Shout out to all my veterans out there and those who serve our country, given it's Memorial Day. And today we're going to talk about Drake and a possible return this summer to hip hop with a new album. So, where does this come from? There have been rumors floating around on the internet for the last, I'd say, 3 weeks or so, that Drake would be coming out with a new album by the name of Iceman, the Iceman Project. And there is a track list that we're going to pull up in a minute uh, that's been floated around. And it could be totally bogus. It could be some truth to it. Maybe some of the songs might be on there that came up from Drake's burner account. So last night at Central C's Toronto show, Drake attended the show and mentioned, "You're going to be seeing me soon this summer," which kind of, falls in sequence into this Iceman project. So we're going to talk about Iceman and what's really the impact on Drake and really how it's going to play in maybe into the war between him and Kendrick, and what does this mean from a hip hop standpoint? Like, what kind of album could it be? So let me pull up the track list real quick for Drake Iceman. Hold on a minute. Let's get to our screen share. So some of the songs on here, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 track playlist. This looks like a pretty standard Drake album, minus maybe some bonus cuts or a deluxe feature. But anyway, by the looks of this track list, and one could only speculate, is this going to be more the typical Drake album? Is it going to be a lot of, club bangers, radio songs, melodies, or is this going to be more lyrical? Is he actually going to rap on here? There is that rumor floating around that he was doing an album with Conductor from Griselda fame. You know what I mean? Is he going to go that route? I mean, just speculating on the track list, I think you're going to get a mix of both. I definitely think the ATL to Toronto is going to be definitely a feature with an Atlanta artist, probably a Young Thug or a Lil Baby. I could see the 6 Reloaded being a hype up track. This could probably be Drake coming out there and basically spitting on there about how he's back. He's officially back. It's my time to shine again. And there could be some bars on that aimed at Kendrick. I wouldn't put it past him that this is more braggadocio on there. It could be more of a lyrical track. You know what I mean? Also, maybe I Forget. Maybe it's his way of moving away from all of the drama from the battle. Who knows? You know what I mean? That could be an interesting song right there. NWTS 1, NWTS 3. I wonder if he's gonna go back to that energy he had on Nothing Was the Same. I mean, you could only speculate that NWTS means Nothing Was the Same. And is he gonna bring back that type of feel of spirit on this album? You know what I mean? I could only think OVO Fest and Parties, probably some radio tracks. Pop Can might be a reggae feature, being Pop Can is a reggae artist. I also have seen online that he's got a track maybe with Central C, Get a Glass, which I think is a good move. I think Central C is a good artist that's up and coming, even though he's kind of UK drill. I think that's a good move for a feature, So just looking at the track list, I mean, and of course it's all speculation, it looks like it's shaping up to be a good hip hop project for Drake. So here's the thing, like the question is he going to be rapping on this album? I do think you're going to see more rap from Drake. If it's going to be a whole album with Conductor Williams, I don't know about that. I think Drake has too much of a large commercial fan base to do that. But I do think you're going to see some lyrical songs on there, more confessional songs, because remember he said, oh, don't worry, I'm going to come out and you're going to really hear my side and hear how I really felt about this whole Drake Kendrick situation, the UMG stuff. So he's going to do some confessional rap, definitely coming up and probably on this project. But what does it mean in the long term? Like, really, what does it mean this summer? Is this going to be an album of the year project from Drake? Is this going to be an album that gets hip hop audiences back on Drake's side after, Kendrick washed him in the battle? You know what I mean? What does this really mean for that? And that's the big question right now. And here's the way I size it up. I think this album is kind of the start of round 3 with Drake and Kendrick. And you say round 3 because, of course, it was rumored, a ways back that, it's really round 2 with these. No, I say it's round 3, and I'll tell you why it's round 3. I think the 8-song back and forth last May with Drake and Kendrick was round 1. Kendrick won that walking off with Not Like Us. Then the next phase was Drake trying to come back with some, some commercial loosies like 100 gigs or and then features with the song with Sexy Red, the No Face single, just to get people back on his side. And he failed miserably. Those tracks got no traction, got little attention on Billboard. Kendrick came with GNX. And GNX just wiped the commercial hip hop clean in that Drake and Kendrick competition. I mean, GNX, and I believe there was a guy I'll shout out my guy, Charles Hill in our group, said that GNX is probably going to be the best album of 2024 and 2025. And to this date, ain't nothing topping GNX right now. So back to the Drake situation. Drake tried to come with some commercial hits to compete with GNX. Didn't really work until he dropped Sexy Songs for You, which was his lowest, by far his lowest first week totals ever from a Drake project. He barely sold over, I think, 220,000 in the first week, which could tell you that is an indicator that commercially he's not what he was how many years ago or previously before the battle. But he did come with Nokia, and Nokia was a hit, even though it didn't formally go number 1 on Billboard. But still, Nokia versus the success that Kendrick is having from the GNX album and the GNX tour, and of course, off the Super Bowl performance, is not matching up. So right now, Kendrick is the undisputed king of hip hop. There's no denying that right now. But could Iceman be the start of round 3 where Drake begins to take that crown back? And is this going to be the album that's going to get hip hop audiences give him back his respect? You know what I mean? Because right now, Drake, I think he's being carried by casuals who, one, are just tired of Kendrick Lamar and tired of Not Like Us, and just pop audiences that they don't know shit about hip hop. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm willing to bet most of the people who really support Drake right now don't even really know who, Nas or Jay-Z really is. Maybe listen to Nas or Jay-Z song. They probably don't even know what Illmatic is. You know what I mean? They probably think LL Cool J is just an actor and wasn't a great rapper, if you know what I mean. They're not hip hop audiences. They're just casual pop audiences or kids that just want to go back and troll back and forth on social media and pick a side just to spite Kendrick Lamar. But I mean, there's no denying in every single category, Kendrick Lamar right now is wiping the field clean in hip hop and owns the game. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Iceman, if this is the Drake project, I think Drake is gonna show out. How good, I don't know, but I think Drake is talented enough, and can spit and has got all the skill set to put out a good hip hop album. You know what I mean? Now, my question is, for my taste, he has to live up to what he was 10 years ago. I didn't even say even longer than that, because when Nothing Was the Same came out, which was 2013, so that's really what 12 years ago or what have you. You know, until he gets back to that level, he's going to get my respect back. He's in the conversation as the top hip hop rappers in the game. You have to give me a project on that level for me to earn my respect personally. I don't know about other people. Maybe he could just put out like some mid project with a couple of hits here and there, and people will be like, oh, Drake is back. He's the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Because I do think that social media and social media narratives do push this man and fuel this man. I mean, everybody wants to go on, well, UMG is out to spite him or what have you. No, that's not the case. Because he has enough social media influence. He doesn't need UMG to push him. So, Iceman, what do y'all think? Are y'all interested in an Iceman album? Do you think that this is the album that will get Drake back his hip hop respect? I do think this will be a good project. And as far as the Kendrick Lamar situation, it's going to shape up to be an interesting summer for Kendrick Lamar, because one, I don't think the Joey Badass situation is going away. I don't think he could sweep that under the rug. He's on tour now. I get it. But Joey Badass, I think, has made enough and sparked enough of an energy. Let me get that out. That, hip hop heads are like, yo, I think Kendrick may have to say something here, because Joey's spitting on here. And the fact that he kind of cleaned up his buddies from TDE and from the West Coast, Daylight, and some of the guys that are signed or affiliated with TDE, it seems like Joey's getting the better respect on this battle front. You know what I mean? Call it, well, it's thirst from the East Coast or it's thirst from the New York, just to have somebody on the New York side of things or New York hip hop to combat Kendrick Lamar. But it is what it is. I mean, Joey's spitting. Now, Joey's going to have to deliver on an album, which is rumored to come out in August, but we'll see. But then with that coming, and then maybe the Drake project, which is going to have a lot of buzz, that puts Kendrick in a corner. Kendrick may have to put out another album this year, another project to compete. And see, when we get to that point, this is what it's all about. And this is what y'all have to understand about a battle, a war, what have you. If you get the best artist rapping their best at the highest level and putting out top quality music, hip hop wins. If you get into like these social media schemes and YouTubers and influencers trying to get you and sell you a side, then it gets corny. You know what I mean? So I think with the Joey Badass situation, I think that kind of brought the hip hop element back into this. And hopefully Drake will follow suit on Iceman. Hopefully he will get more hip hop, more rap on there, more concepts on there, along with his traditional Drake party music and turn up music. So We'll see. But Iceman, are y'all excited? Is this the one that gets Drake back and in the good graces of hip hop audiences? What do y'all think? So with that, enjoy the rest of y'all Memorial Day. I will be back with some content coming up, probably in the next couple of days or so, next end of the week maybe, and we'll talk. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews, YouTube, and I'll see y'all later. All right, peace.